Good morning, student. Welcome to the lecture of Real Analysis 2. In the last lecture, we have seen Littlewood's three principle. Littlewood was a British mathematician whose mainly work is on mathematical analysis. The three principles says that every measurable set is nearly a finite union of open intervals. Second, every measurable function is nearly a continuous function. Third is every convergence sequence, that is pointwise convergence sequence of measurable functions is nearly uniformly converges. We have seen the definitions of pointwise convergence and uniform convergence both. Okay. And then we have written a proposition. This proposition will help us to prove the third statement of Littlewood's principle. What the proposition says that if E be a measurable set of finite measure, okay, finite measure, and Fn be the sequence of measurable functions defined on E. That is, the sequence of measurable function is defined on a measurable set. Correct now? Then F be a real valued function such that for each x in E, we have Fnx converges to f of x. If we look at the statement very carefully, for each x in E, we were saying Fn of x is converging to f of x. What is the meaning? As per the
Pointwise.
yes, this is pointwise convergence. Correct now? This is the definition. This tells us that the sequence of measurable function is pointwise convergence. And what it is asked to prove us, for given epsilon greater than 0 and delta greater than 0, there is a measurable set A contained in E. A contained in E means what? This A is a subset of E where measure of this A is less than delta. If delta be any positive number and if the statement is true for all delta positive, whatever is given, okay, whatever is given delta positive, we wanted to find measure of A less than delta. That is what is the value of measure of the set A actually?
0.
The only possibility is measure of A is 0, correct? And the third statement, we want to prove that there exists a natural number n such that for all x not in A, for all x not in A, not in A, which kind of statement is true? For all n greater than or equals to mod of fn of x minus f of x less than epsilon. What is the meaning of this now? Now this epsilon doesn't, whatever is the stage n, this depends on epsilon only. It does not depends on the point. Therefore, may I say this is your definition of uniform convergence, correct? This is the definition of uniform convergence. And this is true for all the elements x not in A. Not in A means for which elements it is true? It is true for all the elements x in E, but not in A. Not in A means, may I say this is true on x is equal to E minus A.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Therefore, here, may I say this gives me a nearly uniformly convergence definition or almost everywhere uniform convergence. Why? Because the statement uniform convergence is not true on this set A. And what is the measure of this set? 0. Therefore, may I say whatever this uniform convergence we were getting for the sequence of measurable function is almost everywhere true. Uniform convergence is true almost everywhere on the set E. Correct now? So what is the statement giving us? Sequence of measurable functions which are pointwise convergence are nearly or almost everywhere uniformly convergent. This is what we wanted to prove. Okay. Now the proof is very easy. We will go the proof line by line. Now in order to define or in order to have the proof of this statement, we were going to define one set initially. What is the set I am going to define? See. Okay. The last statement we wanted to prove is mod of fn of x minus f of x is less than epsilon for all x not in A. Okay. Therefore, what kind of statement will be true on A? Because we wanted to find A first, no? We wanted to find a measurable subset A of E whose measure is less than delta. Therefore, what kind of statement is true on A? For the elements not in A, this modulus value is less than epsilon. Therefore, on A, may I say this modulus value is greater equal by epsilon? Right? No? Therefore, in order to find
Yes,
out
ma'am.
that A, what I am going to define, we were going to define one set, say Gn. Okay, this is actually a collection of elements in the domain E such that mod of fn of x minus f of x is greater equal by epsilon. Let me call it as statement number 1. Initially, we will collect these elements, right? Then what is the value? What is this G1 actually? No doubt n is going to be a natural number, no? But what is G1? G1 is regarding f1x minus fx. Now put n equal to 1 here. What is G1? G1 is collection of those elements x in E such that mod of f1x minus f of x greater equal to epsilon. G2 is collection of those elements in E such that mod of f2x minus f of x greater than or equal to epsilon and continue. Therefore, for a function fn, we have defined it to be a set Gn. Okay, and now I am going to write the set Ek to be union Gn for n greater equal by k. Okay, what kind of union it is then? For n greater equal by k we were saying, no? Therefore, is the union starts with gk, union with gk plus 1, union with gk plus 2 and so on. Right now this will be a set. So what is the value of E1 then? Or k equal to 1 I
G
have to, yes?
G1.
G1 union, G2 union, G3 union, so on. Right? What is E2 then? Here K is 2
G2
I have
union,
such.
G3 union.
Good. G2 union, G3 union, G4 union, so on. Likewise, we have to continue. Therefore, what kind of sequence of these sets we were getting? What is the relation between E1 and E2? Whether E1 is subset of E2 or E2 is subset of E1?
E2 is
E2
subset of
subset of
E1.
E1.
Good, E2 is subset of E1. If I write one more E3, this E3 will be subset of E2 and so on. Right? But the obvious relation between these sets we were getting is, first we were getting is E1 contains E2, right? E2 contains E3 and so on. Somewhere it is En or Ek I can write. And so on. Therefore, may I say this will give us the decreasing sequence of sets.
Yes, ma'am.
This gives us a decreasing sequence of sets. Okay, this will be helpful for us knowing decreasing sequence of sets. Right? Therefore, what kind of set it is? Let me write what is the definition of your Gn here. Okay, therefore this is union n greater equal by k. Gn is exactly equals to what kind of set it is? This is collection of elements in E such that x is in Gn for some n greater equal by k. Because this if x is available in one of the Gn, it will be present in the union. Correct? That's why we were writing for some n. X is present in one of that Gn's. If it is present in one of the Gn, no doubt it will be there in the union as well. Getting me? Now we will check what about this set Ek, whether the set Ek is measurable or not. Before going to check Ek is measurable or not, we will check whether Gn is measurable or not. Look at the set Gn. The set Gn is the collection of elements in E such that mod of Fn minus F is greater than or equals to epsilon, where epsilon is a real number, right? No, rather it's a positive number. Therefore, may I say, as it is given Fn to be the sequence of measurable functions, right now? Fn is sequence of measurable function. Fn is sequence of measurable function. What about Ef then? Also measurable. We have proved it. Where we have proved it? After almost everywhere definition we have proved it. No, f is also measurable. Therefore, f and f both are measurable. What about their subtraction?
Measurable.
Measurable. If the subtraction is measurable, what about its modulus value? Still measurable. Okay. Therefore, may I say Gn is measurable?
Yes, ma'am.
Gn becomes measurable set. If this Gn becomes measurable set, what is this? This is the countable union of measurable sets. This is countable union of measurable set. Therefore, may I say Ek is measurable again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll just write since Fn and F are measurable functions. Fn and F are measurable functions. May I say it implies Fn minus F is also measurable function. Okay. And if it is measurable, what about the modulus? Modulus is also measurable. No? Though we have not proved yet anywhere, but let me explain. Whenever we were saying any function f is measurable, what we were writing? Collection of all x, node of domain is measurable and collection of elements such that fx greater than alpha is measurable. Now, if fx is greater than alpha measurable, what about the set mod f operated on x is greater than alpha? Whether this is measurable or not? If this is measurable, surely this is going to be a measurable set. Correct? Therefore, we were writing Fn minus f measurable gives us mod of Fn minus f is also a measurable function. And if this is measurable function, may I say each Gn is measurable set. See, I am changing the concept set and function respectively. As this function is measurable, set Gn is measurable. If the set Gn is measurable, may I say Ek is measurable. Why Ek is measurable? Reason for this? Countable union of measurable sets. Correct? Right now, Ek is countable union of measurable sets, and this Ek is a measurable set we were getting. And as Ek is measurable, with this discussion, already we know that this is going to form a monotonic decreasing sequence of set. Therefore, what is the relation between arbitrary Ek plus 1 and Ek? I say like this. Ek contains Ek plus 1. Right now? E1 contains E2. E2 contains E3. That's why Ek plus 1 is contained in Ek. Therefore, may I say, thus Ek is decreasing sequence of measurable sets. Decreasing sequence of measurable sets. And somewhere we have proved this result. I don't know whether you are remembering that measure of, what about the measure of Ek? Measure of Ek is surely less than or equals to measure of E, and this is less than infinity. Therefore, why we are writing measure of E is less than infinity? Because measure of E is finite. It is given in the statement itself. Okay. Do you remember the result? If we have decreasing sequence of measurable sets, we have proved measure of intersection Ek, k equals to 1 to infinity. We have proved limit n tends to infinity Ek.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's good if you remember the result, right? Okay, over here I'll just call this to be statement number 2. And let me call this to be statement number 3. Now, using this statement, we were going to find out measure of this intersection. Before that, we will see what is the nature of this intersection Ek. Ek we know. Ek is union Gn, where Gn is defined like this. Now, we will check what is the value of intersection Ek. Here the term appear, no? Intersection Ek. Now, we will try to prove that this intersection Ek is an empty set. Okay, now we will see we will see or we will prove, anything you can write. Intersection EK is empty. Okay. In order to prove intersection EK is empty, what should we start with? Let us say there is some x in E. If I am starting with an element, say x is in E, and as fn of x converges to f of x. Okay, fn of x converges to f of x. What is the meaning? Then there exists an integers natural number n naught. Correct now? There exists n naught in capital N natural number such that, what such that? Mod of fn of x minus, I am just using the definition of convergence, less than epsilon for all n greater equal by n naught. Right now, in order to prove intersection EK is empty, we will start with an element x in E and we will just check whether what is the value of this intersection EK. As x is in E, already we have written in the statement itself. For each x in E, we have fn x converges to f of x. Just I have written the definition. What the definition says? There exists n naught, or you can write then for epsilon greater than 0. There exists a stage n naught, that is a natural number, such that this kind of statement is going to hold. Now, if this x, whatever x we have taken in E, if this has to be in Gn, what is the condition on Gn set? If this x has to be in Gn, what is the condition? Mod fn minus f is greater equal by epsilon. But what we have written here, x is in E such that less than epsilon. Therefore, may I say here that this whatever x we have selected is not in Gn?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is for all n greater than or equals to n naught. Right now, that is x does not belongs to Gn naught, x does not belongs to Gn naught plus 1 and so on, no? For all n greater than or equals to n naught means. That is from Gn naught onwards, this x will not belongs to any of the set. And if this is so, may I say x does not belongs to union Gn naught. Gn naught plus 1 and so on. Right now, union Gn naught means what?
Yes, ma'am.
Union n starts with n greater equal by n naught, you can write. Okay. And if x is not in union Gn naught, may I say that x is not in En naught. Why this is so? Because Ek we have defined n greater equal by k Gn, right now? For union Gn naught, n greater than equals to n naught will be En naught. That is, x is not in En naught. If x is not in any one of En naught, whether it will be in the intersection?
No, ma'am.
No, it is not. Because if it has to be in the intersection, rather the countable intersection, then x has to be in every En. Right? K from 1 to infinity, somewhere in the middle it will come within n naught. Therefore, may I say here, x does not belongs to the intersection as well. X does not belongs to the intersection as well. Therefore, whatever x we have started with in E, it gives us that x does not belongs to the intersection as well. Therefore, may I say this implies x, whatever the intersection we have taken, k intersection Ek, k from 1 to infinity is an empty set. Okay, what is the reason? If x belongs to intersection Ek, then x has to be in every Ek, no? X has to be in every Ek, but we say or we write x does not belongs to En naught. It is not present in one of the set En naught. Therefore, it will not be in the intersection as well. And thus, whatever x you start with E, it will not be in intersection EK, therefore intersection EK is an empty set. Okay, if it is empty, what is the major?
0.
0.
Good. The major is 0. Therefore, finally we got one set whose major is 0. And from this statement number 2, if major of this intersection is 0, what about limit of this major? Limit of this EK?
0.
0 from 3. This will imply limit k tends to infinity. EK is also 0. Right now, limit k tends to infinity is also 0. Therefore, may I say this will give us major of EK is 0. Yes or no? Major of EK is 0 as k tends to infinity. Major of EK is tending to 0 as k tends to infinity. Let me write it in the epsilon delta notation. How the definition gives us? For every epsilon greater than 0, there exists a natural number n, capital N I am writing now, okay? There exists a natural number n such that, what such that? Mod of major of EK minus 0 less than delta, for every delta greater than 0, because epsilon is, we have used previously, less than delta for all k greater than or equals to capital N. Simply this statement I have written in epsilon delta notation. Instead of epsilon I am writing delta because epsilon we have used previously. Right now? Therefore may I say thus we were getting major of EK is less than delta for all k greater than or equals to n. Writing modulus or not is equivalent. Why? Because major is always a non-negative quantity. No?
Yes, ma'am.
Major is always non-negative. Major is always non-negative. Okay, so we have found one set EK whose major is less than delta, and this is true for all k greater than or equals to n. That is what this statement is going to tell me: major of E capital N less than delta, major of E capital N
K
plus
plus
1 less delta, and so on. All the rest sets, en plus 1, en plus 2, all those are with the major less than delta. We will select the first set and we will call it as the set A, which we wanted to find in the preposition. Right now, here what it is asked to find out, there is a measurable set A contained in E with the major of A less than delta. Therefore, what A I am going to select now? First point we were proving. A we were going to select to be the set En. Okay. Therefore, here shall I write take. What to take? Capital A is En. Capital A is En. Therefore, may I say this will imply major of A is less than delta. Let me call it as statement number 4. So one part of the proof we have proved. We have found one subset A of E whose major is less than delta. What remains to prove now? Up to this we have completed. What remains to prove? For the natural number n for all x not in A, this statement holds. Mod of fnx minus fx less than epsilon. Let us go for proving this step. Okay, any difficulty up to this? Major of A less than delta.
No, ma'am.
Okay, now we have to prove the statement actually for the elements not in A. Right now? Not in A. Therefore, let us start with an element x which is not in A. Okay. Therefore, may I say this x is not in En also because A is En. Okay. What is En? Union Gk k greater equal by capital N. Right now, I have changed the parameter accordingly. Actually, we have written Ek is union k greater than or equals to n Gn. But now I wanted to write E capital N. Correct now? We wanted to write E capital N. Right now? Let's check. whether I have written correct statement Ek n greater than or equals to k Gn. Okay. Therefore, what is my En? What is my En? This is my En, right now. Now, if X is not in En, means X is not in union Gk. Therefore, may I say X is not in at least one Gk. X is not in at least one Gk. Okay, where? Okay, I think I have to change something here. N greater than or equals to N. X is not in N, that is X does not belongs to say Gn I am writing. Not in one Gk, no. That is for some N I am writing, and where what is the value? N greater than or equals to capital N. Now, if X is in Gn, let us check the definition of Gn again. If X is in Gn, what kind of statement is true? Mod of Fn minus F greater equal by epsilon. Now, if I am saying X is not in Gn, what should be true?
Less than epsilon.
Less than
Less
epsilon.
than epsilon. Good. X not in Gn, it tells us mod of Fn of x minus f of x is less than epsilon, and it is true for all n greater than or equals to n. Okay, why n greater than or equals to n? If x is not in En, initially what we have written, if x is not in En, okay, and En plus 1 is a subset of En, therefore may I say x is not in En plus 1 also.
Yes, ma'am.
Therefore, if x is not in En, it is not in any of the subset of En. Not in En plus 1, not in En plus 2. Therefore, one can say that it is not in, or x is not in any En plus k. Right now? Therefore, we have proved mod f n x minus f of x less than epsilon for all n greater than or equals to n, and x not in A. X not in A. And already what is A we have proved? We have proved this set A is of major less than delta. Thus, we have proved the given proposition, saying what this is going to tell us then? The sequence Fn converges uniformly on E but not in A. Right now? Converges uniformly on E but not in A. Why not in A? Because the statement we have proved for the elements not in A. X is in E but not in A. Therefore, here one can claim that this, whatever the uniform convergence of this sequence of measurable functions is almost everywhere on E. Correct, na? This is almost everywhere in E. Let us just repeat the proof for the sake of understanding. Initially, we have defined the set Gn. Set Gn we have defined exactly converse, complement to this statement. The statement we wanted to prove is less than epsilon. Therefore, we have assumed this to be greater than or equals to epsilon. Then Ek we have taken union Gn. Then we have said Ek is measurable. And we have proved that Ek forms a decreasing sequence. Therefore, we got Ek is a decreasing sequence of measurable sets. If it is decreasing sequence of measurable sets, this statement we have proved already in the previous lectures. Measure of intersection is limit n tends to infinity Ek. Okay. Now we will prove intersection Ek is empty. To prove intersection Ek empty, we have started with one element in E. Okay. And then by using the definition given in the statement, mod of Fn of x minus f of x less than epsilon, this gives that x is not in Gn for all n greater than or equals to n naught. That is, x is not in Gn naught, not in Gn naught plus 1 and so on. Therefore, x is not in the union Gn naught, that is, x is not in En naught. And if x is not available in any one of the set of the sequence Ek, therefore it is not in the intersection. If it is not in the intersection, what we have proved? If I take any element x in E, it is not in the intersection. Therefore, intersection must be empty. If intersection is empty, measure of intersection is 0. If we limit ek 0, which gives us measure of ek tends to 0. And using this fact of measure of ek tends to 0, we have proved that measure of ek less than delta for all k or all equals to n. Now this statement will help us to show the subset A, which we wanted to prove measure of A less than delta. So this statement gives us actually measure of E capital N less than delta, measure of E capital N plus 1 delta, and so on. So we will select the first set En to be A. We will select first set En to be A. And thus we have proved half part here that measure of A is less than delta. Now to prove mod f n minus f less than epsilon, we have started with an element not in A. If x is not in A, x is not in En, x is not in this union, therefore x is not in at least one GK. If x is not in one GK, we have written x is not in Gn. X is not in Gn for all n greater than or equals to n. Therefore, mod fn minus f. X is in Gn means mod fn minus f is greater or equal by epsilon. X not in Gn means mod fn minus f less than epsilon. And this is for all n greater than or equals to n and for the elements not in A. Therefore, this gives us Fn converges uniformly on E but not in A. On E but not in A. This is what the proof of the preposition. If you have any difficulty with the proof, you can just unmute yourself and ask me. Okay? Yes, any difficulty with this?
No, ma'am.
Okay. If not, let us write one more preposition. Whatever the preposition we have stated just now, we will make the condition stronger again. Whatever the sequence of measurable function given to be pointwise here, pointwise convergence here, we have proved that it is uniformly convergent. Now, let us make this condition weaker again. This pointwise convergence is almost everywhere. Then also the preposition holds. Now we will write this preposition statement only without proof, and we will just try to prove the Egorov theorems which depends on this preposition, right? लक्षात येते का काय करणार आहे मी आता? आपल्याला या प्रिपोजिशन मध्ये काय दिलं होतं? Fn converges point wise directly होतं. आता काय करणार आहोत आपण अज्यूम Fn converges to या almost everywhere. Again, then using this almost everywhere pointwise convergence, we will prove uniform convergence. Okay. Let me write this statement. Let E be a measurable set of finite measure and sequence Fn be a sequence of measurable functions. Defined on E such that Fn converges to E almost everywhere on E. Do you get this? This uniform convergence, whatever we have written, is almost everywhere on E. Then prove that. What to prove? Given epsilon greater than 0 and delta greater than 0, there is a measurable set A, measurable set A contained in E, that is subset of E with measure of A less than delta, then there exists an integer capital N. Actually, it should not be an integer, no? It should be a natural number. I don't know why it is integer. There exists a natural number capital N such that, what such that? Mod of fn of x minus f of x less than epsilon for all n greater than or equals to n, and x belongs to E minus A. X belongs to minus A. Okay. Let me just check the statement. Yes. Okay. Therefore, here whatever point-wise convergence was given directly, here it was given almost everywhere. Okay. Therefore, the condition was made weaker. No. Point-wise convergence is stronger condition. But here it is made weaker, that if Fn converges to F pointwise almost everywhere, then also uniform convergence statement holds for the elements X in E not in A. That is, again, this is going to give us almost everywhere uniform convergence on E. Uniform convergence on E almost everywhere. Okay. Therefore, here without proving this proposition, we were going to the last statement or last theorem of this unit number 2 called as Egorof's theorem. Let me prove the theorem directly. Okay. This statement we will assume time being. Now what this Egorof's theorem states that, just check. If Fn be a sequence of measurable functions, that converge to a real valued function F almost everywhere on a measurable set E of finite measure. Then prove that given epsilon greater than 0, given eta greater than 0, eta is a symbol, eta greater than 0, there exists A in E such that, what such that? Measure of A is less than eta, and now here it was with, we can write measure of A with measure of A less than eta, and such that, what such that? Sequence Fn converges uniformly to F on E minus A. Okay, now our job is to prove this by using this previous proposition. Okay, now we were going to assume this preposition and we were going to prove this Egorof's theorem. Egorof's theorem gives us if pointwise convergence is almost everywhere, then it will give you uniform convergence almost everywhere on the set E. This is what we wanted to prove in this theorem. Okay, we have only 5 minutes left. We will start the proof. If not completed, we will complete it in the next lecture also. Okay, therefore here what I will do, by using, as I told you, by using the previous proposition we were going to prove this. Now what this previous proposition says that for every epsilon and for every delta there exists one subset with measure less than delta, and this condition mod Fn minus f of x is less than epsilon for all L greater than or equals to n. Now here we will start with given eta greater than 0, and we will take some particular values of epsilon and delta in terms of eta we will choose, and we will try to write these statements and we will make the generalization. Okay, this is what we wanted to do in this lecture for the proof. Let eta greater than 0 be given. Okay. Now what we will write? By previous preposition. By previous preposition for given. First I am going to select epsilon as 1. This is purely an adjustment. We will see why we have taken this delta as n by 2 and all. Okay, just to make some summation, whatever we were going to form. To be 1, we are selecting delta to be eta upon 2. There exists a measurable set, say A1, such that A1 is contained in E with measure of A1 is less than delta. But what is delta we have selected? Eta by 2. Okay, thus, okay, there exists an integer, there exists a natural number n1 such that, what such that I should write? Mod of fn of x minus f of x less than 1. No? This is what particularly we were selecting for epsilon 1 and delta n by 2. Less than 1 for all n greater equal by n1. The stage is n1. Okay. And for all x is in e minus a1. Right now? This preposition I am using. Mod fn x minus f less than epsilon for all x in e minus a1. What is the notation we have used for a now? A1 because epsilon I selected 1. Okay. Now let us make epsilon still smaller. Next, for epsilon equal to 1 by 2 and delta equals to eta upon 2 square, that is eta by 4. Again there exists a measurable set. Measurable set, what kind of set it is? A2 contained in E with, what is the measure of this A2 again? Less than eta by 2 square. What kind of natural number is going to exist? There exists a natural number n2 such that, yes, what such that? Mod of fn of x minus f of x less than 1 by 2 for all n greater than or equals to n2 and x is in here what I will call whatever this e minus a1 we have written, no, we will call it as e1 say. Okay, then for e1, okay, now therefore here I can write e1 minus a2, and this I will call as e2 say. Okay, I am writing the statement for this e1 now, for all x in e1. Then if it is true for all x in e1, for the next selection of eta, this is true for e1 minus a2. And this e1 minus a2 we will call as a2. Okay, let us check what this e2 is given. What is this e2 we have written? This is e1 minus a2. But what is e1? E minus a1, no. E minus a1 minus a2. How can I write it? E minus a1? E
Intersection A1
A1 complement, right? Good. And what about minus a2?
Intersection A2 complement.
Right. Now let me use associativity to write E intersection A1 complement intersection A2 complement. So what can I write this as? By De Morgan's law, is it A1 union A2 complement? Okay. Therefore, can I write this as E minus A1 union A2? Therefore, whatever E2 we have written is E minus A1 union A2. Now, whatever this process we have made for 2 steps, we we will just continue this up to kth step. Continuing this procedure for kth step, we get, yes, what we get? We get, oh, measurable set. What will be a symbol for the measurable set now? Is it AK and E subset of EK plus 1. Whether I have written subset A2 subset of E1 I should write. Yes. Here AK subset of EK plus 1. Okay. And for natural number, will I use NK notation? Such that. What such that? Mod of Fn of x minus f of x less than 1 by k for all n greater equal by nk. For all n greater than or equals to nk, and x is in ek. Right now, for the first step, I have written x is in E1, E minus A1 E1. Next step, E1 minus A2 E2. Therefore, here it should be in EK. Right? But what is EK?
E
This
minus
is-
A1 union A2 up to so on AK.
Yes. But before that, I will write this as EK minus 1 minus EK. Na? Check. E2 is E1 minus A2. E2 is E1 minus A2. E2 is E1 minus A2. E1 is E minus A1. Therefore, what is in general EK? Is it EK minus 1 minus EK, right now? And with the previous discussion, I can write this as E minus union I equals to 1 to K, A, K. Sorry, AI na parameter. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now whatever A we wanted to prove a set, a subset A of E in the statement itself. Now let me select this A to be union of all those AKs. Let A I am going to select as union AK, K equals to 1 to infinity. A countable union of all such a step, all such a sets AK of E. Therefore, what about this subset union? Whether it will be a subset of E or not? A1 is subset of E. What about A2? A2 subset of E1, E1 subset of E, and so on. Therefore, finally, all AKs we were getting subsets of E. Therefore, what about union, countable union? May I say this
Subset.
is yes, this is a subset of E. Good. Okay, what remains to check? Measure of this set. And what about a measure then? Measure of A. This is measure of union. A equals to 1 to infinity AK. A equals to 1 to infinity AK. How this union is evaluated?
Addition.
Yes, this is subadditivity. Can I write? Divide measure is less than or equals to. Therefore, this is summation. K equals to 1 to infinity. Measure of AK. But what is the measure of AK we have written? Here I have forgot to write. What is the measure of A2? N upon 2 square. Here I forgot to write. What is the measure of AK? For the second step, it is eta upon 2 square. For the first step, this is eta upon 2. What for kth step? Is it
Eta upon 2 raised to K.
Yes, it is eta upon 2 raised to K. Therefore, here, may I write? I will just replace this by. This is strictly less, na? Right now? Because measure of A is strictly less by summation K equals to 1 to infinity eta by 2 raised to K. Eta is independent of K taken outside. This is eta summation K equals to 1 to infinity 1 upon 2 raised to k. What is the value of this summation? Geometric progression, na? What is the first term? 1 by 2. Common ratio?
1 by 2.
1 by 2. Mod of r less than 1 also. Therefore, what is the sum value? This is a upon 1 minus r. What is a? Half. 1 minus half. 1 minus half is half. Half upon half is 1. Therefore, what the sum we were getting? Eta into 1. Therefore, here this is less than eta. Therefore, whatever this measure of a we have taken, this measure of a less than eta. What remains to prove? Simply half part we have completed. What remains to prove? Simply sequence fn converges uniformly to f on e minus a. Let me stop for this. Up to this we have proved. It remains to prove sequence fn converges uniformly. As we are running out of time, let me stop here. If possible, today after your lectures, after your OET lecture, you will just complete this part so that this unit will be finished. Okay, let me stop here. Thank you for being with me with this lecture. If you have any query, you can ask me. No queries, it seems to be. Therefore, let me stop. Thank you for being with me for this lecture.